Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you and welcome once again, my friends, to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur gift giver. And welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent, digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting music shows throughout the day, as well as talk shows just like this one. All we do here is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, I want to engage with you and have you be part of the conversation. So find me on Twitter, Rizzle, Instagram at Colt S. Taylor. And of course, follow all of my current adventures at ColtSebastianTaylor.com. It is December 26th. Unless you're listening to this way in the future, the day after Christmas, and, my friends, the last Saturday Report of 2020. That's right. By this time next week, we will be in 2021. It's amazing stuff. Amazing indeed. All right, my friends, let's get started with the last Saturday Report of 2020. First up, entertainment news. There is a sequel coming up in March from Amazon Prime. So it's an Amazon Prime, an Amazon original movie, Coming to America. No, not the 1988 original film, Coming to America. This is Coming the number 2 America and is a sequel to the 1988 movie. So here, it's like 30 years later, a sequel to that great movie with Eddie Murphy. He's coming back. Arsenio Hall's coming back. Also with John Amos, James Earl Jones, Shari Headley, and a lot of the original cast from the movie, as well as some new additions, including Leslie Jones, Tracy Morgan, Wesley Snipes, Jermaine Fowler, and a lot of people in this movie. Louis Anderson, who had a minor role in the movie, he's coming back. Morgan Freeman is making an appearance, apparently. So I am very much looking forward to this movie. The 1988 one was really, really good. It's a classic Eddie Murphy movie. And I'm glad they're making this sequel. They were been talking about it for the last few years, and originally it wasn't going to have Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall in it, but they came on, and they're going to be reprising their roles. And if you may remember, they are also they play multiple characters in this movie. So this is, I believe, like one of the first movies where Eddie Murphy played multiple characters in the movie. So Eddie Murphy will be Prince Akeem, obviously, of Zamunda. But he also plays Randy Watson, a soul singer with the fictional band Sexual Chocolate, as well as Mr. Clarence, the local barber, and Saul, the Jewish barbershop customer. And then Arsenio Hall plays Semi, Akeem's best friend, but he also plays Reverend Brown, a church reverend, and Mr. Clarence's, the barber, his right-hand barber. So it's funny, in the barber scenes, Eddie Murphy plays 2 characters, and Arsenio Hall plays one other character in that barbershop. So like in 1988, they had to do some very clever camera angles. But I imagine with the that Amazon money and today's technology, all 3 of them will be in the same scene at the same time. So this comes out on March 5th, 2021. If you have Amazon Prime, I assume you will be able to watch it. Amazon Prime, not a sponsor of the Saturday Report yet. So I'm probably going to watch the original the week before and then the actual movie on March 5th. Looking forward to this. Hopefully, not a disappointment, but I feel confident. I feel confident that it will be a good one. So be sure to check it out. I will check it out, and when it comes out, I will give you a full review. In other entertainment news, there is a new comedy series coming to FX called Reservation Dogs. Not Reservoir Dogs, but Reservation Dogs. So we'll play on words there. By Taika Waititi. the director of Thor Ragnarok. He directed some Mandalorians. He's an amazing director, very funny person. And he has teamed up with someone named Sterling Harjo. Apparently they're longtime friends, so this is one of the first times they've worked together on something. And it's about, actually, it's very interesting. It's caught my attention. It's about 4 Native American teenagers in rural Oklahoma who spend their days committing crime and fighting it. So it is a comedy. Taki is also the brains behind What We Do in the Shadows, which is on its 3rd season in FX. It's about sort of a fake documentary about vampires living in today's world. I've seen a few episodes, very funny. But going back to Reservation Dogs, it's notable because, I mean, there's usually not a whole lot of stuff out there that focuses exclusively on Native Americans and have a Native American cast associated with it. So I think this is really fantastic. So I'm definitely going to check this out as well when it comes out. I don't have a whole lot of information of when it comes out, when it'll be out, what day of the week it is. It'll be on FX, obviously. Or actually, much more involved with what the plot is. So, but it's a comedy series. I'm a big fan of Taki's work. I think he's a fantastic director, very, very good eye for comedy, and I think it's great that there is a series that's featuring a whole bunch of Native Americans in rural Oklahoma, and sort of showing that aspect that I don't think a lot of people are very familiar with of that part of Americana. So looking forward to it on FX. Be sure to check it out when it does. I, of course, will give you a full review down the road. Now we go from entertainment to crime. This is a crime story about an American teenager currently serving 4 months in prison. Fortunately, cut down to 2 months in prison in the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands, which is a British overseas territory in the Caribbean Ocean, just south of Cuba. I have never been, but maybe AWSM Radio will send me there one day. We'll see what happens. But we're not talking about my travel plans. We're talking about this teenager, Skylar Mack. She's now going to be serving 2 months in prison. Now, you might be thinking, Cayman Islands, okay, let's see here. There's a lot of, maybe money laundering, maybe some narcotic activity, maybe some, illegal activity. Well, I would say it's illegal because she's going to jail. But no, my friends, none of that. No bank transfers, no suitcases of cash. Miss Skylar Mack is in jail because of jet skis. Yes, jet skis. Allow me to explain. Skylar Mack is like any other 18-year-old college-going lady. She has a boo. And her boo is a professional jet ski racer. Okay, obviously, some sort of gambling, black market jet ski dealings. Nope, none of that. Well, her boyfriend is going down the Cayman Islands for a international jet ski race, which I guess is a thing. I wasn't aware of that. So she flew from Georgia to the Cayman Islands to watch her boyfriend in the race. But there's a problem. Cayman Islands has a pretty strict COVID-19 quarantine rule. So you get there, you get a negative test, they still want you to wait 14 days in a room until you're fine, and then you can go about your business. Well, she got there, and the race is not 14 days later. It's coming up. She's going to miss it. She can't watch it from the hotel room. So she went out and see it. I put it to herself, Colt, listen, how are they going to know that she's out and about? Well, apparently in the Cayman Islands, if you get there, they put like a little electronic bracelet on you, and that's so they keep tabs on you. Well, she slipped out of it, went out the back door, went to the race, saw the race, saw her boyfriend win first place, greeted him, I guess, and the race organizers were going, wait a second, she's not from the Cayman Islands, she looks like she's a Yank. Maybe we should contact health officials and make sure she's not breaking quarantine. Well, they did, and guess what? They were pretty clear that she had left the hotel and broken quarantine. Well, the Cayman Islands is taking this pretty seriously. Like, obviously, here in the United States, we have had hundreds of thousands of deaths and whatnot. Cayman Islands, they've had 2 deaths and about 316 infections of a residents of 65,000 people there. So there is pretty locked down there. I mean, it has hurt the tourist industry there, but they're pretty strict about that. So they gave her 4 months in jail. 4 months in jail. And, I mean, those are the rules. You can't leave the hotel or you get 4 months in jail. Now, apparently Eric Trump, a well-known purveyor of laws and health advice, tweeted in support of her. Quote, Skylar is an 18-year-old girl who left her hotel to watch her boyfriend compete in a jet ski. 4 months in jail? Well, yeah, that's the law. You know, you don't come. They make it pretty clear. If you come in here, here's the rules. If you break the rules, here's the problem. Well, they have cut it into half, so they're only going to be 2 months in jail. Well, originally they were giving 40 hours of community service and a $3,000 fine. But the punishment was increased the last week after the prosecutor appealed, saying it was unduly lenient and wrong in principle. So the breach, the gravity of the breach, they thought that 4 months in jail would send a message that you just don't bring quarantine. So maybe 4 months was a bit long, but it'll be 2 months in jail for these two. Parents are pushing hard, obviously, to get them. We'll get her out of jail. She's the daughter of apparently another professional jet ski racer. I guess this is a thing. I wasn't aware that jet skiing had a professional racing league. You learn something every new here on the Saturday Report. I learned something new. You learned something new. We've both learned that there's jet ski racing, and we both learned not to break quarantine in the Cayman Islands, or you might be in jail for a month or two. Although, I imagine the jails at Cayman Islands are actually probably pretty nice. I would imagine. I mean, they probably got nice windows. It's probably terrible in one way or another. So, hopefully, once she gets out, it being weeks from now or months from now, she will never make this mistake again. Because she's very regretful, obviously, but, whew, you gotta follow those COVID rules, folks. You gotta follow them. Especially if you're in a different country. They don't take too lightly to the, let's say, distinctly American approach to the COVID-19. You gotta follow the rules, folks. You gotta follow the rules. Moving from crime to the stock market, which for some people are pretty much the same thing. Tesla, headed up by Bond villain to beat Elon Musk. I mean, side note, folks, are we all on the same page here that one day Elon Musk will hold the world hostage as an orbital laser circles the world? I mean, we can't be that far away from it. I'm just saying. Tesla, not a sponsor of the Saturday Report, although if they were, I would fully support an orbital laser from Elon Musk. Anyways, Tesla has now joined the S&P 500, and this is a pretty big deal because Tesla is the 5th or 6th largest company in terms of market capitalization on the S&P 500. They say 5th or 6th because I wasn't aware of this, but Google has two different classes of stock, and they're both listed on the S&P 500. Why? I don't know. I don't care that much. I didn't want to investigate that far into it. I'm not talking about Google. I'm talking about Tesla. But Tesla has now joined the S&P 500, and they think this could possibly destabilize the entire S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is an index fund. It puts together a bunch of companies, and people invest in the S&P 500 sort of hedge funds. It's very complicated, but it's a number that people follow. But they think it could destabilize the S&P 500 because Tesla has some pretty wild swings in stock prices. As you know, they are a electronic electric vehicle company. They make the Tesla and whatnot, amongst Elon Musk's other ventures in space and whatnot. But they go up and down quite a bit, and they're such a large company, a swing in the stock can have dramatic effects on the S&P 500 and in turn impact hedge funds that are based off of the S&P 500. So whereas there are companies bigger than Tesla on the S&P 500, they don't swing 5, 10, 50% up and down some days of the week. They go a little bit up, a little bit down. They're more of a linear changes as opposed to up, big down, big up, big down. Some of that's due to market things. Some of that's due to Elon Musk running his mouth. It's a very, I would say, volatile stock, but it has swings. I mean, if you invested in it early, you made a killing. It's gone up so high. A ridiculous amount of money has been made if you were an early investor in Tesla stock. Crazy. Super crazy, amazing amounts of growth. But that does affect everything else. So it's something to watch. If you are a hedge fund, consult your financial advisor, because I am not even remotely qualified to give you financial advice here at the Saturday Report. Not a financial professional, so don't take my word for it. Consult someone you're paying, because that's what they're paid for, and I'm not paid to tell you what to do with your money. Unless your financial advisor is a sponsor, which they're not, of the show. All right. So anyways, I thought that was interesting. Also, in sort of a little side note here, Peloton is joining the stock market. They're apparently joining the NASDAQ 100, which is a collection of other stocks and whatnot. But all these tech companies are making big impacts. Tesla's one, Peloton's one. I guess I need to start some sort of high-tech company of pith helmets that will... I need to workshop this idea. I start with pith helmets and then money. I need to fill in the in between, and then I'll be on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. That'd be great. Wouldn't it be amazing to watch me ring the bell of that and just kind of shrug and go, I can't believe I'm here. All right, so check your hedge funds. If you have an S&P 500 mutual fund, may be impacted by this new edition of Tesla. Speaking of impactful, I'll tell you what, my friends, if you are up tomorrow, Sunday at 10 p.m., or you're up last night, Christmas Day at 9 p.m., more than likely, my friends, you were listening to DC Live in Effect. He is our in-house DJ, DC. He mixes it up every Friday at 9 p.m., every Sunday at 10 p.m., and you do not want to miss out while he smashes it on the ones and twos, kicking the beats from his North Pole DJ station. One time a year goes to the North Pole, has a rave with the elves and Santa. I am 87% sure that's true, and it's fantastic. So, my friends, mark your calendars. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Next week, Friday at 9 p.m., DC Live in Effect, right here on AWSM Radio. Moving along to travel news. I know there isn't much travel going on these days due to COVID-19, but there are still flights out there. I believe 1 million people traveled a day in the days leading up to Christmas, because I guess that's what people do. I did not travel, but I'm not talking about travel here in the United States. I'm talking about travel in Nepal. Yes, going around the world. Nepal, for those who don't know where that is, and if you don't, shame on you, because you should know your geography, is a country kind of sandwiched between India and China along the Himalaya mountains. And they have an airline named Buddha Airline, and started operating in 1996. And well, they went to the wrong airport. They were supposed to go to Janakpur, but instead they went to Pokhara. Nepal's a small country. Well, no, it's like 250 miles apart. It's no hop, skip, and a jump. They went to the wrong airport. It was a miscommunication. and they kind of got a little turned around. They just ended up going to the wrong airport. Because in Nepal, weather there, being up in the Himalaya mountains during winter, as you may imagine, a little harsh. So airports usually open later in the day, and there's only a very small window to send off these flights. So multiple flights take off and land very quickly at these airports. And they got a little confused. They end up going to the wrong airport. But they got everyone there. They landed, realized they went to the wrong airport, refueled, and then went to the right airport. Now, between these two cities, Pokhara and Janakpur, which I am surely am not saying correctly, there are no direct flights. So they had to wait, a little bit to get special permission to fly between these two cities, because I guess that's a thing over there. But, the 69 passengers, the 66 adults and 3 children, all got there okay, safely. They were just, a few hours late, as, one would imagine if you fly to the wrong airport. Now, this does not happen often, as you may imagine, but it does happen from time to time. In 2019, a British Airways flight left London and wanted to go to Dusseldorf, which is in Germany, but ended up going to Edinburgh, which is not in Germany. It's still in the United Kingdom. The pilots were looking at the wrong flight plan. So you may not realize, a lot of pilots swap out from planes and whatnot. They sit down, okay, where are we going? Okay, we're going there. Well, they got the incorrect flight plan, and okay, I guess we're going to Edinburgh, and they went to Edinburgh and instead of Dusseldorf. And passengers, if you've flown before, I'm sure you have, the first thing you do is you land, you turn your phones on, and people are like, this doesn't look like Dusseldorf. They pull out their Google Maps, and they're like, all right, we're in Edinburgh. Cool. Super. This is the wrong place. So, it happens. Fortunately, everyone got where they needed to get. There wasn't any accidents. So, in terms of airline mishaps, this is above losing your luggage, but below there being a problem. So, fortunately, everyone got there. I thought it was funny and wanted to bring that story to you. Moving along from travel to science, Australian researchers have dubbed a new classification of prehistoric crocodile that would be 16 and a half feet long, and they're saying it was the Swamp King. They say it resembles today's modern descendants if they were on steroids. So basically, they've had this group of crocodiles since 1886, but they've found some new fossils in the 80s and 90s recently, and they believe they have a new classification of these large prehistoric crocodiles that were around, between 5 and 2 million years ago in Australia, called the the Paleocene epoch, which, again, saying wrong probably. I am not a good word user of those big Latin words. They were big, super big, 16 feet long. If you're in the metric area, it's about 5 to 6 meters. About 3 to 4 times the length of a human person. Huge crocodile. And they apparently fed a large prehistoric kangaroos and other marsupials in the southern swamps of southeastern Queensland in Australia. And, folks, the crocodiles haven't changed that much. And they're a little bit smaller, but they pretty much look the same as they were back then. And you may not realize this, but if you go to Florida or, maybe most of this mostly happens in Florida, there are crocodiles and alligators just roaming golf courses. There's plenty of videos online of people playing golf, and this big lizard that could kill you just walks slowly across par 5, looks at you, and keeps right on going. And even a few official PGA tournaments, there's some videos out there of golfers almost stumbling upon one of these alligators while they're trying to play through, and they have to poke it with a golf club to get it off the course. So, and then also I saw recently, speaking of alligators, I believe alligators are up here and crocodiles are down there. They're distinctly different, but when they they thought they were the same thing for years, but they are distinctly different, and I always forget which ones are which. So I believe in the United States is alligators. There's a story of an alligator that chomped on a little puppy to pull it into a swamp, and this like old retired man jumped in and wrestled the jaws open and got his puppy out of this alligator. And they're both okay. Both have some scratches and need some stitches, but wrestled that dog free from that alligator. It is a danger down there of little tiny animals getting scooped up by the swamp by these prehistoric predators. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad there's no 16-foot large eating and killing machines roaming around now, especially up here. Well, where I live, it's entirely too cold for a reptile of that size. But I can't even imagine something. I mean, I'm looking in my studio right now. If that thing was here, it would fill up this entire room, and I would love to have an interview with it if it was a sentient prehistoric crocodile. I'm sure we could talk about politics, modern cuisine, but more than likely, he would just eat me. He would probably just eat me. Moving along to a update / additional story. As you may recall, a previous episode of the Saturday Report, I talked about the KFC Recipe for Seduction starring Mario Lopez. It was a 15-minute movie. I watched it start to end, and for Lifetime movies, it was what it was. It was campy, it was funny, it had all the tropes and whatnot. Mario Lopez did a fine job. Also, thank you again, Mr. Lopez, for liking my Instagram story about you. He sent me a like privately. Oh my goodness, it was the highlight of my day. Well, KFC, not one to shy away from trying new things in terms of marketing. And I'll tell you what, I imagine the KFC marketing room is just a bunch of folks just doing drugs with a pile of money, saying, let's do this next, because this next thing is crazy. It's crazy. KFC is coming out, apparently, with a gaming console, a gaming system, like a video game system, like an Xbox, PS5, a console, the KFC console, okay? It's being built with a partnership with a PC maker, Coolmaster, which makes people think that this is probably just a limited thing and not like an actual push into the gaming world, but who knows? Who knows with KFC? It has some pretty beefy specs. I'm just reading here. It's running 4K games at 240 frames per second, which is apparently something you won't find often in a PS5 or Xbox. It's run by a Intel Nuke 9 Extreme Compute Element and houses Intel Core something processor. But it has apparently a hot swappable GPU, which is a graphics card, which means you can upgrade this machine down the road with better components, which is something you can't do with a gaming console, but you could do with a computer. The storage is a Seagate Barracuda 1 terabyte SSD card, which is twice the amount of storage you'll find in an Xbox and almost three times as fast, 3 times the storage of a PS5. Not quite as fast, but still very zippy. And the console is VR ready, virtual reality ready, and supports ray tracing. And here is, of course, like, okay, that's fine. That's gaming specs. Well, this console has a, I can't even say this without laughing, has a chicken chamber. Yes, the heat generated from this gaming console is directed upwards to this little chamber where you can keep your Kentucky Fried Chicken warm. Yes, this gaming system, you can play games and keep chicken warm at the same time. There's the tie-in, obviously. And like, who in their right mind would invent this? I think it's brilliant. I love it. I think it's a great idea. I don't know anything about gaming systems whatsoever, but the fact that they would do this, they would do this. It's just not a prop. It's got some oomph to it. Okay, there is some, from a technical standpoint, in terms of the components used, there's some muscle behind this console. It's not just a paperweight. I don't know what games are available for it. It has no release date. There's no price associated with it. But it will keep your Kentucky Fried Chicken warm. And I think that is just amazing. Amazing. I don't know what the system is. I mean, it seems like crumbs and grease could get into the system. So surely they figured out how to avoid that, because, I mean, I assume crumbs and grease are not components you need in a gaming system. But really, really amazing. I'm going to message them and see if I can get my hands on one of these. It probably won't happen, but hey, you miss every single shot you don't make, folks. So I think this is well worth the try. But yeah, KFC is coming out with a gaming system where you can play some pretty heavy-duty games on it. I don't know which ones or how or why. And you can also keep your chicken warm while you play. The ultimate gamer solution, I guess. Yeah, so no release date, no price yet. We'll see if they just might make a handful and, give them out as prizes. Who knows? Maybe they'll abandon the chicken market altogether and go take on PlayStation and Xbox. But the marketing madmen at KFC are coming out with a KFC console. Well, I will keep my eyes peeled to see how this eventually plays out. Speaking of amazing things, my friends, if you are anywhere between the hours of 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, you need to be listening to the Rock Sessions. It is the drive time show making sure that your evening commute home is fun, featuring the hottest music on the charts, as well as some other surprises in between. Probably ask yourself, Colt, I've heard this before. Remind me again, who hosts this amazing show? It's my friend Rox, and this show is the Rox Sessions. She will make it rock, Rox style. You need to listen Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on AWSM Radio. It's a great show, great music, great little tidbits in between songs. Rox is a great host, and you know what? When you listen to her a few times, you feel a connection there. A connection of real DJ, radio host friendship, and she's a fantastically friendly person, too. So I cannot recommend this show enough. Listen to it right here on AWSM Radio, The Rock Sessions, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Next up is not so much a recent news story, but a story that was sent to me. It was published recently, of someone who gathered together the 7 craziest celebrity conspiracy theories. I read through all of them, and I wanted to share with you the best one that I saw in the story. But I will review the other 6 before we get there. The first one is that one of the most famous conspiracy theories involving celebrity is that Paul McCartney is dead. That they replaced Paul McCartney with a Paul McCartney lookalike in 1966, and they so just have hidden this throughout time, and they've put hidden messages in there throughout. You can play certain songs backwards and hear "Paul is dead," "Paul is dead," stuff like that. There's some illusions about that. So obviously not true, but that's a famous one. The other one being that some celebrities are actually lizard people. Miley Cyrus is a popular one because she does that tongue thing, apparently. Another sort of replacement, Avril Lavigne, is Melissa Vandella, which I guess is, I don't know, I guess a replacer or whatnot. Taylor Swift is a satanic clone because she looks a lot like someone who appeared on an old talk show named Zena LeVay, and I'm looking at the picture right now. They kind of look alike. So they say that Taylor Swift, this Zena LeVay was a Satanist, and so they figure, okay, well, Taylor Swift looks exactly like her. Obviously, she's a satanic clone, as one would as one would imagine. So there's that. Ted Cruz being the Zodiac Killer. That's another celebrity conspiracy theory that's, just funny at this point. It's more of a joke than anything else. Even Ted Cruz has joked about it. Another weird one is that Stevie Wonder can actually see. Like, he can actually see it. He just does, it says he's blind for marketing purposes. So, again, I don't believe that's a thing either. But my favorite celebrity conspiracy theory in this story is by Keanu Reeves. Whoa, Keanu Reeves. Yes, Keanu Reeves. That's my spot-on impression. The star of The Matrix, Point Break, which is a great movie. John Wick. That, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. That, Keanu Reeves. And my friends, this may come as a surprise to you, but Keanu Reeves is immortal. Yes, that's what this theory says. If you look at photos from 1989, 1994, 2000, 2010, 2020, he looks practically exactly the same. Now, what people are thinking this is a conspiracy theory is they've come across portraits from 1875 and 1530, and boy howdy, it looks like a Keanu Reeves portrait of him. Like, oh, that guy kind of looks like him. Well, no, it looks like Keanu Reeves from a period piece, dressed in 1875 and 1530 garb. It looks exactly like Keanu Reeves today. So, obviously, probably not true. I would say, 5% chance of it being true. But if anyone was going to be an immortal, I think Keanu Reeves is the obvious choice. So, coming 2080, John Wick 27. We'll see what happens. But I came across. I love ridiculous celebrity conspiracy theories like this, and the Keanu Reeves one with the picture, the picture quote unquote evidence was real funny. This story is from Society 19, so check it out. You can read the other ones and whatnot, but I like to bring in funny stories here on the Saturday Report, and this was a funny one. Finally, my friends, the last story of the week, we go to China, where a Chinese entrepreneur named Coastline, very aptly named, and you'll see why, has built a floating house for $61,000. It's a steal. 600 square feet. It's held in place by 16 one-ton anchors, so he can move it anytime he wishes. And he has electricity. There's a power cord that goes from his house and 3 kilometers to shore where he can plug in. Now, he's had some issues of fishermen when they come by with their nets, disconnecting him, but he has managed to work with them and talk to them about what to avoid, and he has been able to keep his house plugged in for over a year now. Now, apparently this is becoming very popular with entrepreneurs. Obviously, you can't go there without a boat, so there's a very isolated. And it's apparently much cheaper to build on water than it is on land over there. So I've seen the house. It looks fantastic. It's very, steel and glass and wood. Plenty of room to have a few guests. Looks very peaceful, very isolated. Got, internet and power, so that'd be enough for me. And for $61,000, that's a pretty enticing amount of money to build a very nice little house there. Now, obviously, it's built for wind, but if a typhoon would blow through, he might be in trouble. But, if you think about it, friends, if you build a house on a beach along the Atlantic Ocean or Gulf of Mexico or anywhere near the ocean, big typhoon, big hurricane blows through, there's a higher chance you might lose your property. So, same thing there. And it looks great. If I could build a $61,000 house on a lake, I would do that. I just don't know any good lakes that would let me to do it nearby. But it would be a very, very nice way, peaceful way to live. I'm all for it. So maybe he'll invite me over sometime for a special broadcast. We'll see. Well, my friends, that just about wraps up the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, the last one of 2020. I believe this is the 21st episode of the Saturday Report, which is pretty amazing since we're going to 2021. I will be back next week in a new year with new stories for you. So thank you for joining me today and joining me every week. Remember, my friends, you can find me on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Rizzle, which is a great app, which you should download. Colt S. Taylor, so please feel free to engage with me there. And if you think there's a story I need to cover, well, my friends, just let me know. Let me know on any of these platforms, and I will track it down for you. And, of course, if you need a daily source of Colt Sebastian Taylor adventures, as one would, bookmark. Visit ColtSebastianTaylor.com. I do a lot of stuff on there. Until next time, my friends, I am, of course, your friend, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.